It's Kalia Monique. My first name's Kalia. My middle name's Monique. It's Kalia Monique. Today we have my end of the year TBR, and honestly, I'm quite scared. Well, however, although that wasn't proper. Once again, I have one of my favorite mugs here with me today because we have yet another fall video. Kind of. Not really. Yeah, that was a lie, I'm realizing. Because this is actually my end of the year TBR video. It was very humbling for me to count out how many books of mine I have not yet read. I don't want to talk about it, okay? I don't want to talk about it. It's just so exhausting. Oh my god, no pictures, please. I'm yelling at them, just leave, get out, like leave now. We don't need to go through all this. Why are you heading towards trauma on purpose? I love you too. You're literally sunshine as a person, but thank you so much. Oh my god, this matches me. I just realized that this mug actually does match what I'm wearing today. And once again, I have stopped my train of thought from what I'm trying to tell you to notice something else. My goodness, Kalia, is this what's going to happen today? Is this what we're doing today? I was saying, first of all, did not realize this matched my outfit, kind of, although we appreciate that. What I have been trying to say for a long time, though, is that, once again, my mug does not have coffee or hot cocoa in it, because I don't feel good. I have a migraine. Said migraine is actually making me feel very nauseous, and so I have ginger ale because I have chugged so much water today, and it's still here. So we're gonna drink the ginger ale, and hopefully it continues to allow me to not vomit today. That was probably TMI, and I am sorry for that. Let's go ahead and get into these questions for my end of the year TBR. Lord help me, because we all know how I do with TBRs. And that's not well. I don't do well with them, okay? For the first question, are there any books this year that you've started and need to finish? And yes, there are. So I actually do pretty well in completing the books that I have started. So shout out to me for that. Very proud. However, this month, which is November, also the end of October, I have been transitioning into this new role at work, and so I have been reading this series for far longer than I anticipated. Clearly, working more hours at one job, having another job, working with my channel and everything, and I can't really get mad at myself because I'm just like, there's only 24 hours in a day, okay? There's only so much I can do, but still, considering I've been working on this series in order to release a video for you all, like, that's out of everything that's annoying me about still reading these books, is that's the part. Like, I'm doing this for a video. I'm reading this, and I'm also reading it for a video, and so, yeah. Anyways, that being said, the book that I absolutely finish soon is The Dragon Republic by R.F. Kuang, which is the second book in the Poppy Word trilogy, and of course, the other book that I will need to finish before the end of the year is The Burning God. Yeah, that's just that on that. I don't know how else to say it. This is how far I am in the Dragon Republic. I believe I started this last week. I hope I started it last week and it hasn't been longer than that. But I absolutely, hopefully, will be finishing it this week. Like I said, I've just been moving into a new position. I was doing so good. And then the freaking migraine hit. And now I'm like, oh my god, I can't focus. My eyes aren't focusing on a page. And so, yeah, I definitely need to finish those two before the end of the year. I don't think there's any other books that I've started that I need to finish. Like I said, I usually binge books. So, oh wait, another book that I need to finish before the end of the year is actually Tommy. Yeah, I still haven't finished this. And I literally have no excuse for it. Except for this bitch right here. Her right there, she scares the shit out of me. And so yeah, I stopped. But I might just focus on the TBR that you have, Kalia. I need to finish this before the end of the year, and the Dragon Republic and the Burning God. You know what? There are people with far more books to read before the end of the year that they've started, so I'm proud of the 3 books that I have. Next question is, do you have any autumnal books to transition into the end of the year? I really want to read more Octavia Butler. Like I think I said before, I believe I read this book or tried to read this book when I was like in high school or something. I can't remember if I read the whole thing. I can't remember anything about the book, but I do know that this is one that has been on my radar for a very long time. Just like as a person and from the research I've done on Octavia Butler, I really respect her and all that she's done for the classic sci-fi genre. However, when I was younger, I used to think that I wasn't smart enough for sci-fi. And so I was too scared to actually read her work, but like still really admired her as an author. That being said, something about this book just feels very autumnal to me. It deals with very serious subjects. Also, just like sci-fi in general seems very autumnal to me. I don't know what it is about that, but right now I am really craving some sci-fi, which literally Kalia from earlier this year would be shocked by that sentence. But yeah, just first of all, look at the edition of the book that I have. Like, tell me that does not scream autumn. But also the main character is like an very extreme empath, and so she feels a lot of emotions from other people in a world that has very little feeling, and very few people actually have remorse for the actions that they are committing, and there are very heinous and just evil deeds being done by the people in this society. But the main character actually feels a lot and can feel the heartache and the agony that many people are going through in this society, and feels their emotions very extremely as an empath herself. I don't know, there's just something about the like rawness of the heinous actions of the people around her, like the people in the society, and the horrible things that they're doing, along with her being an empath, just seems very soft. So like a very soft spirit in a very dark and dangerous world seems very autumnal to me. Like, I wouldn't read this in the summer, maybe in the spring. I don't know, it just seems like a transitional season type of read. I wouldn't read this in the summer. Maybe not in the winter either, because I don't know, sometimes I think of winter as like cozy reads, more romance novels, you know, more like family reads and everything. But like fall, and I would say even spring, are more like reflective periods in time, more like deep thought and self-reflection and societal reflection, and just creating balance within the world and within yourselves. And so I'm very intrigued to see what this book brings into my life as I read it. And maybe I'll be able to reflect more on like the world and society, because I'm sure there is great commentary to be had. And in fact, I really want to read this book like right now. Is there a new release you're still waiting for? Oh God. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't keep up with new releases. I usually just go into the bookstore and I usually just go into the bookstore, go to the new release section. I'm like, oh, that seems interesting. I don't look for new releases as they're coming. I just find out about them when they're out, or through people I've been watching. But let's see. What are some new releases for the end of 2021? I mean, Our Violent Ends came out today, but I haven't read These Violent Delights yet. But I'm still very excited for These Violent Ends. So I guess These Violent Ends by Chloe Gong would count as one, even though I haven't read These Violent Delights yet. But I haven't read These Violent Delights because I've been waiting for Our Violent Ends to come out. I know I said that sentence correctly. It just feels like I repeated myself a lot. Because I heard, one, that it's a duology, and two, that These Violent Delights ends with a very, like, astounding cliffhanger. And so yeah, I've just been waiting for Our Violent Ends to come out for me to read it. Now that it's out literally today, I'm so excited. But I don't know if that would count because technically it came out today. Like, it came out already. But literally it was today. Another book that I'm excited to come out, Psychonic by Brandon Sanderson. It's the third book in the Skyward series. I really enjoyed Skyward. It was the first Brandon Sanderson book I read. So there is another book that I just found out about that I am very intrigued by. For this book, it states, when she's diagnosed with brain cancer at 70 years old, one of the wealthiest women in the world, Dava Shastri, decides to end things on her own terms. The matriarch shocks her 4 adult children by leaking the news of her death while she is still very much alive in order to read what everyone has to say about her. But soon the secrets she buried long ago float up to the surface and she's forced to face the consequences. In her debut novel, Kirthana Ramsetti crafts a hilarious and heartfelt narrative about legacy, power, and privacy, all through the journey of a lively character who has limited time to make things right with the people she loves. That sounds super interesting. This book kind of reminds me of The Inheritance of Orquídea Divina by Zoraida Cordova without having that, like, magical realism element to it. So I'm very intrigued to read it. And I say that as I've read The Inheritance of Orquídea Divina. What are 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? 3 books that are really high up on my radar as of the moment are While Justice Sleeps by Stacey Abrams. I wanted to read this since October. I don't even know what I need to explain about why this is so high up on my TBR. Do you see this beautiful name right here? In gold. This name tells you its worth because it's literally written in gold. I mean, I don't know about, like, literal gold, but it's literally written in gold. The color is gold. That's how important it is. Put some respect on this name. Stacey Abrams, I bow to thee. I really want to read this book before the end of the year. Next up, I really want to read The First Sister, like, really bad. I really wanted this book ever since I watched an older vlog of Monica Kim when she read this book. And the way she was talking about it and just, like, everything about this book seemed right up my alley and very stunning. I've been staring at it like, wow, I really want you. The next up is To Sleep in a Sea of Stars. First of all, we love a floppy book. Secondly, we love a huge floppy book because what is this, like, nearly 800 pages? Oh, she is 800 pages. Hold on. What? It's in my possession, and every time I see it on my TBR card, it's literally it's the one, like, right on top, and I'm just like, I want to get to you. Is there a book you think could still shock you and become your favorite book of the year? My favorite book of the year? That means that it will have to be Ace of Spades. Because we all know Ace of Spades is my #1 book of the year. I will say, however, I did have a top 5 for a long time. I think halfway through the year, I had already had my top 5, and those had stuck with me for a long time. And then I read Muse of Nightmares, and I'm not going to say which book that knocked out of the top 5, but it did knock a book out of the top 5, and that was very surprising for me. So, I don't think a book is going to be Ace of Spades for me. Like I said, for me, Ace of Spades provided just such great representation of, like, the plights and the feelings I was going through in high school, of feeling like I didn't belong, of tactics I used to survive in a predominantly white space, and just, like, a lot of stuff I was going through in high school, basically, with the character Chiamaka, and then just how much I felt for Devon as a character. I can't imagine I will feel any more represented than I did in that book. And for me, that is why it made it to the 5 stars. I don't even think I have books left on my TBR that have... I mean, I have books on my TBR that have black women or young black girls as the main characters. Do I think those characters? I just... they're all fantasy books. And while you can still be represented in a fantasy book, I think it was... And usually fantasy... Okay, I need to finish the thought before I start the new one. But this... Are we shocked that this is happening? Okay, so the books that I have left that have, like, main characters that are black women or black girls, most of them are fantasy books. And while there is still representation to be had in fantasy, and I thoroughly enjoyed fantasy books with black main characters, because we're magical too, first of all. Just... the things that made Ace of Spades special was that it was so realistic, and that it also had the representation, and that I felt so seen in it. So I just don't feel like there's a book that can do that anymore that is on my TBR. Like, and it was the surprise of it all, really, that made Ace of Spades my #1 book for the year. Like, I was surprised that a book could represent me so much and be realistic, like, and be set in real life, you know? And so, no, I don't think that there's a book that can become my #1 favorite by the end of the year. I do not think so. Do I think that there is a book that could knock out one of the top 5? Dang. Maybe. Hold on. There is literally only one book on my TBR card that I think could possibly beat out another book that's in my top 5. And it's kind of messed up of me to say this because it's literally the same author. So the only book I think could replace a book that's on my top 5 is Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson. And that is because Monday's Not Coming is one of my books on my top 5 books of the year. Again, it was the shock of it all. It was the rawness in the material and the topics that were being discussed and the subject matter. All of that really worked towards that book being a 5 stars for me, and just the shock of the ending and everything. This book is discussing the music industry and how it targets and victimizes black girls. Just like the topic matter seemed more aligned with things that I found interesting. I believe this came out around, or I heard of this around the time that the whole R. Kelly situation was happening. And I was just like, I wonder if the commentary in this book would be similar to that when I first was interested in this book. And then I read Monday's Not Coming, and I was like, ooh, remember that book you were interested in before Monday's Not Coming? And why you're interested in that book. Like, ooh, this could be very impactful and far more than you anticipated it being. And again, I was more interested in this one than I was Monday's Not Coming when I heard about the books. I don't remember what, I think I just ended up buying Monday's Not Coming because that one was in the bookstore when I was there. And I don't regret, clearly I don't regret reading Monday's Not Coming or buying that one, because literally one of my top 5 books of the year. Stunning book. Just wow. But yeah, like I just said, like the subject matter in this one aligned more with my interests. Like the fact that I already was more interested in this book than Monday's Not Coming when I was reading the synopsis for them. Just the fact that how I'm going into this book is already higher than what I was going into for Monday's Not Coming. And knowing Tiffany D. Jackson stay doing things that I can't anticipate her doing, I feel like if there's any book that can kick another book out of my top 5, it would be Tiffany D. Jackson outdoing herself. Does that make sense? I'm glad you understand. Have you already started making reading plans for the year? Y'all in this planning stuff, like what? I have never met a group of people that needed to plan so much until book 2. What do you mean plans? I'm just here. I'm just existing. But sure, let's talk about goals. Let's not even talk about what I might read next year because, but let's talk about goals. Next year, the goals I have for reading is that I will read 100 books. I've already made my 100 book mark this year. I hope I can do it again next year. Hopefully next year I can find new favorite authors. I hope I can read more authors of colors with more with more main characters of color. I hope I can read books with more characters of colors from different backgrounds and different identities. I would love to read more books with LGBTQIA plus characters of color or just LGBTQIA plus characters as the main leads. I would love to read more love stories with centered in LGBTQ youth. Like I said in I believe the last video I talked about Felix Ever After and just how much I really appreciated the like young voice of that book. Yeah, I want to keep reading books with like these young, just sweet LGBTQ characters of color just like existing and being cute and adorable. As we all know, Darius the Great is one of my top 5 books of the year, and Darius the Great, because it's both Darius the Great is Not Okay and Darius the Great Deserves Better. Both of those in my top 5, but they only hold like one place in my top 5 because I literally love them the exact same amount. Anyways, again, really loved how young Darius was, how hopeful he made me. Like, he's just so cute. I want to read more sci-fi because clearly I'm starting to love that a lot more. I'm probably going to read a lot more adult books because when it comes to like regular YA romance, just not doing it for me anymore. Not really. Sorry. Hopefully reading all the books I couldn't get to this year. Yeah, I just want to keep reading great books and being in love with books. I have read a lot more books that I have loved this year than books that I haven't. And for the longest, I thought I was just like an easy writer when it came to books. But like, someone said something in a video, and I can't remember who it was, but it made me feel so much better about myself because they were like, clearly I go into every book hoping to like it. No one goes into a book hoping not to like it. You read books that you want to enjoy, and I enjoy most of the books that I read, and I'm very proud about that and excited about that. And so I'ma still keep being my easy rating self. Okay, it's fun. I'm happy I enjoy books. I'm happy that I am an easy reader because I just bring me the simplest bit of joy, and I will love you forever. Yeah, I just hope for a lot of great reading next year. I hope that for me, and I hope that for you. I will manifest it for us all to have amazing reading years in 2022. Alright, so if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed my face, my voice, and my extraness, go ahead and press that like button down below and press the subscribe button and the bell notification if you'd like to be notified when I upload. If you'd like to stay connected with me, as I would like to stay connected with you, I of course will have my social medias linked down below. Also, if you would like to support this channel further, I of course have my Ko-fi and my Amazon wishlist linked down below as well. Also, what has been your favorite book that you have read this year? I would love to know. Go ahead and leave that down below, and go ahead and leave below any of your answers to the questions that I answered here today. I would love to know what are some of the books that you still have to read for the rest of the year. With that being said, I believe that is everything, although I am probably forgetting something because I always forget something. But bye guys!